Now, Media Brands is the day job. One of your other roles is as president of the Media Federation, which is the voice of media agencies, I guess, where they talk together. What do you see your priorities for the Media Federation in the coming months?
I think the number one priority that the board and the exec committee of the MFA all are 100% aligned on is, the MFA is there to demonstrate and to showcase the value of the media agencies that operate in the market, both from the perspective of the talent that rests within the businesses that are in the Media Federation structure, but also to demonstrate the value that they bring to clients, and how important that is for us to sustain as an industry. And through the way in which we've structured, through the appointments we've made, and most recently with Sophie Madden coming on board as the CEO of the MFA, we're going to be focused on having a much stronger and more regular dialogue with clients and marketers that really sort of refer and showcase what agencies are actually bringing in terms of value to the market. I think it's probably a fair perspective to have on the MFA in the past of being one of an industry body that really kept to itself and focused on itself, where we now firmly believe that it's time for us to start talking about the value of the industry from an agency perspective to the broader market, and at the same time explain how what a lot of people think of as a media agency is so much more. And if you look across most of the media agencies as we know them, they do a lot more than media, and I think that is a really clear demonstration of the value that the agencies are actually bringing to the whole marketing fraternity.
Now, I think relatively early in your presidency, one of the issues you identified was the sheer problem for all media agencies of just the number of tasks that just become bigger and bigger that could potentially be automated, particularly as media fragments. Now, there may have been progress, but if so, it's not been particularly visible. The thinking being, I know that you were hoping to get all of the agencies working together and build some automated processes. What progress has there been?
There has been progress. The agencies as a collective, I think, having been part of the MFA for a number of years now, have a very, very positive working relationship as an industry group. We definitely are a very fierce bunch of competitors, but when we come together for common needs, there's a lot that is being done. There has been a lot of work done in working with the television industry and trying to find a technology platform that will help us and our television partners take some of the pain out of that process. And a lot of work was done last year. I think it's fair to say that it is taking longer than anyone would like, and that's predominantly because there is a hell of a lot of complexity that we didn't know as a collective that we have come across and are starting to realise. But I strongly believe that there is a commitment to continue to do that. And it was only I think it was at not the last 360, but the one prior that we had
about 18 months ago.
18 months ago, and that was pretty much the beginning of the process, and that has continued.
And the conversation then was partly around who was going to pay with it. How has that conversation gone?
Well, to be honest, we're not really focusing on who is going to pay for it. As a group, I can assure you that every television operator and every one of the MFA members of that group have actually contributed, significant amounts of money individually to maintain this sort of evolution, and I would expect that will continue, and the commitment to continue is there. So it's a big process. It's industry infrastructure, and it's not the sort of stuff that happens quickly, and there are lots of stakeholders, and the reality of those stakeholders is that they're all in different places with their own different issues. And last year, I think, was a year that brought to life not only infrastructural issues, but a number of the operators within the industry went through their own corporate restructuring, and there were a lot of distractions to the media sector last year that we had to work around, and that's just the reality of a business sector as is the media.
Now the media has had a pretty tough couple of years. Most people don't seem to be predicting much advertising growth in the coming 12 months or 2 years. You're reasonably well placed to kind of make your own predictions based, I guess, both with your MFA role but also your media brands role. Where do you see things going in the coming months?
I'm positive, and I'm glad you asked the question. I thought about this over the Christmas break, and I actually think the industry needs to take a good, long, hard look at itself, because 2012 will show that the market did grow, and the market as a whole has grown to a new high watermark. So the market is the biggest it has ever been. We're expecting that 2013 will be again a bigger market than it has ever been, and if you take those facts in context and look at the backdrop and the turmoil from a global economic perspective and some of the issues that the media sector has been dealt, I actually think they're actually pretty strong results. There are too many commentators and too many people in the market that seem to think talking a market down is going to get the market's attention, and I just think it's counterintuitive. I don't understand why anybody wants to talk a market down and give the market a reason to be sceptical and to not look at marketing as a viable investment channel for business growth.
Most people you talk to, though, seem to find that they're having a tough time and have been having a tough time.
Well, I think a tough time needs to be given a little bit of clarity. A tough time versus a budget that may have been too aggressive, I get, but in relative terms, any growth in the market and in a sort of broader global market and climate that we've seen since about 2007 is actually really positive. And I think it's important to note that the Australian media sector has actually been a positive market right through that process. But for whatever reason, there are still commentators out there that are talking the market down for various agendas. And I think what I've been really pleased to see is some of the industry's most respected individuals, Harold Mitchell, John Stephen from Group M, starting to make more positive comments, and they're right. I completely agree with them, and I think what we'll see in 2013 is a demonstration of a market that will continue to grow, and within that market there will be highs and lows, and there will be channels that grow and channels that don't grow as fast. That's a normal market, but I think as an operator in the market and as someone who has a responsibility for one of the biggest groups in the market, I think it's important for us to instill confidence in the market so that marketers come back to the media sector with confidence and with a sense of innovation and with a sense of adventure.